You're listening to Parasearch UK Radio. News, views and reviews from the world of the paranormal from across the UK and beyond. Find us on Facebook, Twitter and the World Wide Web. Parasearch UK Radio.
The views and opinions expressed by presenters and guests are their own and do not necessarily reflect the official policy or position of Parasearch UK Radio or its affiliates and sponsors. Listener discretion is advised.
You're listening to The Spirit Dimension with your host, Kerry Greenaway, right here on Parasearch Radio.
Good evening and welcome to the Spirit Dimension. I am one of the hosts for the evening. My name is Kerry Greenaway, and on a Sunday, I like to bring you something a little bit different, a little bit spiritual, show you a different way of doing things sometimes. And tonight is no difference. But firstly, let me introduce my co-host, Claire Hinks. Good evening, Claire. How are you?
Good evening, Kerry. I'm very well, thank you.
I've got two great guests lined up tonight, haven't I?
Oh, yes. Very excited. We're very excited, and they are very excited.
Everyone seems very excited in the studio tonight.
There's a good energy in the room, isn't there?
Really good energy in the room. Now, before I introduce my two lovely guests, I would like to say I have actually had shamanic healing with one of the ladies that's on tonight, and it was one of the most profound, awesome experiences I have ever had in my life. And that lady was Crystal Atlantis. Good evening, Crystal. Thank you so much for coming on and joining us tonight.
Hello, Kerry. Thank you. Thank you for having us. It's very exciting.
And we've got your colleague and somebody you work really closely with, Jackie Manton, as well, haven't we?
We have. Good evening, Kerry.
Good evening, Jackie. Now, you two ladies work in regards to shamanism, don't you?
Yeah, we do. Yeah, for quite a while now, isn't it? How long have we been working together?
I think about 2.5 years.
Yeah, but we've known each other a lot longer than that,
about
haven't we?
5-6 years.
Yeah.
So can you tell us a little bit about shamanism? There's a lot of misunderstandings, isn't there, regarding shamanism?
Absolutely.
Yeah, basically, shamanism isn't connected to any religion. It's an act of power rather than being dogmatic. So it's across the board. And in shamanism, what we do, we connect with the spirit world and the elements of nature to bring balance and harmony to our lives and the lives of others. Have you got anything to add to that?
Well, I mean, yeah, we actually were talking about that beforehand.
Yeah.
And I mean, for me, it's all about working with energy and with love. And sort of helping somebody to find the right path for them. It's not about fixing them or it's just about helping them and guiding them onto the right path where they need to be.
Yeah.
So is it more a way of working with your higher self rather than your lower self?
It's about incorporating all of it. So it's about bringing harmony and balance to the whole of you rather than rejecting any parts of yourself. That knowing that if you accept them parts of yourself, that you're fully whole. Is that what you would describe it as?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
So it is about accepting the good and the bad within yourself and seeing those both as possibly an empowering and a destructive force, but being able to utilise them in the right way.
Yes.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, because when we reject ourselves, parts of ourselves, then we become disempowered, and we become quite fractured, which leads to soul loss, disempowerment, and all sorts. So the whole idea is to treat the whole person rather than just a part of them.
Absolutely, and it's about just being accepting who you are, and look, you know, we all have sort of sometimes bad thoughts, or you know, feelings of jealousy and envy, and actually for us it's accepting that that's a part of us, but doing nothing about it. You know, we don't do anything about that. We just accept that that's sometimes we feel this way, and it's okay to feel that way, but it's whether you do anything about it. You know, it's that intention. I mean, for us, it's all about intention, and the intention is love.
Yeah, love, and coming from the heart, because the shaman's most important tool is the heart. Mm-hmm. So as long as your intention is pure and your heart, you're coming from the right place, then you're always going to be following the path of, I know, what do you call it?
The path that serves you, you know.
It's in the highest good of all, basically.
And
so
yourself.
You work for the highest good of everyone.
Including yourself.
Including yourself, yeah.
Okay, so sorry, Claire, carry on.
I was just going to say, so how long have you guys been working then as shamans?
Oh, okay. So I've been doing it about 2007. So it's back, or 2006. I think it was end of 2006. So about 11, 12 years I've been doing it. How long have you been doing it?
I've been doing it, I think about 5 or 6 years now.
So I've been reading a little bit about it, because I don't really know very much about shamanism, if I'm honest, but I've heard a bit of drumming and things, and I know there's a whole lot more to it than, you know, what you're talking about. There's lots more, isn't there? But I'm just interested to know, like, how did you find out that you were meant to be working as a shaman or within the shamanism?
Well, for me, I literally just stumbled into it. I'd always had an interest in, I used to call it weird stuff, because there wasn't in understanding back then.
I love it, weird stuff.
So we all felt like that at times.
Yeah, we're all doing the weird stuff.
And then I sort of fell into it, and then I realised that it changes lives. It changed my life. It brought me, I was not the person I was now. Like, it helped me to understand myself. And then a lady that we just went to America last year to train with, Lee Hilfiker, amazing lady. She come over from America to train a few of us. And that's when I really, really knew that that's what I wanted to do. And that was my path. How about you?
Well, I've sort of been doing stuff spiritually for about, ever since I've come to the UK about 20 years ago. I started off sort of helping out in a spiritual centre when they had mediums and stuff like that. Then I did the healing course, and then I did Reiki, and I sort of stumbled on this through going to a fire ceremony, and it just, you know, when that feeling that you found something that sits with you, and you just know, there's a knowing, isn't there, that you just think, oh my God, this is all it is. Because, you know, for me, I love the fact that what we were learned last year when we went to Lee is that it's all about intention. And sometimes, you know, when you go through certain ways of doing things, it's about the feelings that you get when you work with a client. So you're never wrong. I like that idea of never being wrong when you work with a client. So, you know, because we always worry, don't we? We get hung up about, we've not done it right, or we've not done this right, or we've not done it that right. And I just love the idea of, you know, every client, when you go to a client, when you have when you work with a client, it's always different. Everyone can be different, you know?
And that's what I like it. It's never boring, is it?
Yeah.
It's always...
No, because everybody's different, aren't they? And so everybody needs something else from you guys. And it just depends on what area you have to work on for that particular person, I suppose.
Yeah. And each shape part, there's many, many, many different kinds of shamanism. Yeah. Like the thing we've been trained in is Andean, which is Peruvian, and also part North American.
Yeah.
We've got some teachings from that. And I've done a little bit of Hawaiian, but not a lot, just a little bit. And I mean, you've got Tibetan, Mongolian, Siberia. There's so many different styles.
You've got some from the Sami.
Sami, yeah. So it's such a big subject. It's really hard to fit into a conversation, really, because it is that big.
So for those guys that don't, I mean, because obviously I didn't know very much about, as I've said, about shamanism, but I had a little read just a little bit earlier on, and am I right in thinking that in some cultures then the shaman is a little bit like a witch doctor, so they would be the doctor of the community, is that right?
Yeah, that's right. And it could also be like in North America, it would be the medicine man or the medicine woman.
Okay, so same sort of thing. Yeah,
there's many different names like curandera, lots and lots of different names, but they're all the same thing. You go to them, and some do herbal remedies, some work completely with energy, some combine them. It all depends what style they work with and what they've been trained in and what culture they are, really.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So,
right, Kerry, you
honestly,
can think
it's absolutely fascinating because I've actually had a session with Crystal Atlantis, and first of all, you very first, before you began any form of work on me at all, you did we had a discussion, didn't we, about what I wanted out of that.
Yeah, we did.
So we pinpointed it. Now, which it's a soul healing. It looks at soul healing more than, and then that manifests into physical. Yes.
Yeah. Would you? What did you do? Soul healing. Is that? Yeah, I see so many people. So soul healing, is that what I did on you? I'm trying to remember what we did together.
Yeah, it was.
So I get what you're saying. So what happens is sometimes when your soul or when you're different, the spiritual, the mental, the emotional, when it's affected, it can actually come up in physical form. Yeah, is that what you meant? Mm-hmm. Come up as an illness, like that word. Disease, if you put it, if you split it up, it's dis-ease, isn't it?
Yes, so dis-ease of the body.
Some people, the more they hold on to stuff, the more they can become ill.
Yes, it does affect the soul, and the whole idea is to bring that person back to wholeness in their soul. And so if we suffer from things like trauma or anything which loss, grief, divorce. There's many different things which would make the soul fracture. Them aspects of ourselves we lose. We might lose our trust. So we've I know we might have a broken heart, and so we're never able to love, or it might be something else, mightn't it? And the whole idea is to bring that person back to a point of balance where they are healed and whole, isn't it?
And they start feeling better.
Yeah, and they start to feel better. Yeah, so their body no longer needs to give them diseases to give them messages that part of themselves needs healing. Really.
I mean, because I can give you an example. So a few years ago, I used to suffer from a really terrible back. To the point where, I literally would pick up a bit of paper, my back would go. And I was in a situation that was really very, very difficult. And eventually when the situation cleared up, my back cleared up. And I never had a backache again. Because I held on to all the stuff, the anger, how I felt at the time. I held on to it, and because I held on to it, it came out in a physical form.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it does work like that. Yeah, metaphysically, yes.
I agree with that. Not all the time. We're not saying it's the answer for every physical ailment out there. We're just saying it's an avenue you can explore, perhaps.
Absolutely.
I mean, I know when I left Crystal's house that day, I was walking 10 feet tall and a lot more empowered than I'd walked in there. I'd walked in there like all depressed and crappy and came out of there walking 10 feet tall and feeling like it was incredibly empowering for me. I work with energy, as you guys out there know. So for me, these kind of healings work for me. I resonate with people that can do this. Now, what kind of tools do you guys use? Because they're very different from like a Reiki healer or a crystal healer. So you use lots of different types of tools, don't you, in your work? So could you talk us a little bit through some of those?
Yeah. So one of the most important ones is your drum, isn't it? Mm-hmm. So the drum alters your brainwaves to help you journey into an altered state of consciousness. So when you're journeying for that person, or just to bring them into alignment, isn't it? You use your drum. Rattles, they clear out the chakras of dense, heavy energy and any energy blockages and stuff like that. Our mesa, yeah. So in the Andean tradition, we have a medicine bundle called a mesa, and it carries all the stories which we've used to empower ourselves, and we help to empower others with them.
Feathers. We use feathers where we can smudge using them. Extract things. We have extraction crystals. We use stones that are in our mesa that we collect when we're in the different directions. When we learn, we can go for the different directions. We have stones in each direction.
Yeah, and they assist us with the healing because they basically remove imprints from ourselves, our wounded selves, and then we turn them into points of power to help our clients.
We also have agua. We use different
agua de Florida, different cleansing waters. I'm trying to look around my room to see what we've got.
We use pipes.
Pipes and tobacco, not to use in a recreational way. It's used in a healing way. So they can be used for blessings, extracting, lots of different things. Things like sage and sweetgrass and Palo Santo for energy clearing. There's so many things.
There are lots of different things. Now, a lot of what you do to start with, like you said, with the drums and your rattles and stuff, is all about energy, frequency and vibration, isn't it?
Yep.
Yes.
And that is one of the main points of energy healing. It's raising a vibration.
Yep.
And you can alter the vibration, which allows healing to happen, can't you?
Yes, you can.
Yeah.
And for each of our, we learnt in America last year that each direction that we work in has a different drum beat. So,
it does, doesn't it? Which is really cool. So, you call in the different energies with different beats of your drum or your rattle or whatever. Yeah.
Well, later on in the show, you're going to give us a little example of this, aren't you? But that's later on in the show. So, guys, keep listening because that is going to be phenomenal. And as I say, I've seen these ladies work, so trust me. Now, when you're at an event, I want to move on a little bit. When you're at an event doing some of the sessions that you do at an event, is that really hard to focus on each individual person? Because you get so many. I mean, you're constantly working all day. I've never seen you have a break, really, when you've been at events. So how do you cope with that? I mean, it's great, but how do you cope with that where you're literally transforming from vibration to vibration to vibration to vibration?
The more I have, the higher my energy goes, and the more I quite like being in that energy. Actually, it feels I feel quite uplifted from it. I don't really struggle with it, to be honest. I actually really, really enjoy it, mixing with the different people and knowing that hopefully I might be making a difference in their lives, even if it just makes a difference in one person's life. That makes it worth it, doesn't it, really? Yeah. I thoroughly enjoy it. And Jackie's a bit...
I'm her PR woman there.
Bit of a slave
I love
driver.
it. I am a slave driver. I sell her when I go. I go, look, come this way. Come to me. I have somebody that will be really good for you.
Well, I have to say, the energy that comes out of that particular corner, because you're always you always seem to end up in a corner, don't you?
Yeah.
But the energy that comes out of that corner is always awesome, whether it be you or Gareth, who's another shaman that I know. Whenever you see a shaman work at an event, there is such power that comes out of that corner. And it definitely raises the vibration in the hall, let alone for the person who's having that particular healing session.
Yeah, well, it's different, I suppose, because I'm never the one sitting back, am I? So, I'm trying to... How do you feel with that, Jackie?
I just really enjoy promoting Crystal, and I just love sitting in that energy. I mean, when we open space, when we get there and we set up, it's like, we just want it to be a space that attracts people, that people feel good in. So, it's all about that intention of love and light, I think.
Yeah.
Claire?
I was just thinking that they're saying that we're all awakening, aren't we? People are becoming so much more aware and are awakening. And
absolutely.
I know, I think like the more and more of my mediumship that I do, I think more and more people, the more and more that I see, the more and more I want to see, and the more I do, the more I want to do, you know. And I guess I was thinking that about you, but you were talking about how, you know, how you wanted to create a space, no matter where you go, whatever hall you're in or event you're at, or whether you're at home or somebody else's home, you still you want to give that to somebody, don't you? They need that from you. That's your job.
Yeah, exactly.
And you just feel drawn, don't you? It's like a calling. Like once you start doing it and you're embracing it, the more you need to.
Yeah, I do agree. Yeah,
it's like being facilitators, isn't it? You're facilitating that person, to be able to, I suppose, heal themselves, or it's like you're holding that space for them, aren't you? So that they feel safe in that space.
I'm interested to know, guys, actually, because as a medium, obviously, when somebody sits down in front of me, I'm tuning into their loved ones in spirit, or whoever chooses to step forward at that time. So for you, giving healing, so how would you tap in? Like, how do you know what somebody needs? What, you know, how do you get into their soul then, if you like?
So first we'd create like a sacred space to work in. We personally, we wouldn't actually work without that. So you set the space, you call in your guides, your spirit helpers, all the energies that you work with, and then
you open. You said open it.
And then I'd basically you have a brief conversation. Well, if you're at an event like that, you'd have a conversation. Whereas if I'm at home, I'd fill in some forms and I'd really go deep to where I felt that they needed to be. Is that how you work as well?
That's how I'd work.
And then basically tuning into spirit, calling in your guides, your helpers, and then just connecting with them to find out what requirements is
what they need. So you're working in a similar way then to a medium, aren't you? Because you're tuning into spirit. Yeah. They're really we don't do the work, spirit does.
Exactly.
We can't take no credit for it. It's not us, it's them. It's the guides, it's the helpers, spirit, whoever you work with, it's them.
But
it's very similar to that tuning in and connecting is like a medium, really, isn't it?
And I agree. Like people say to me, "Oh my God, you know, it's amazing, you know what you do," but actually, it's not amazing. It's just you're just passing it on, aren't you? I just feel like the same. I can take no credit for it at all.
Absolutely, definitely.
I don't know if you feel like that, Kerry. I'm sure, you know, with your crystals and stuff. And
completely, you have to. You have to link in that way, and you're not doing it. They're doing it. They're not telling, you know, I'm not sitting there going, well, you know, just because I know all the meanings of crystals and minerals, I'm going to tell you that this one's right for you and that one's right for you.
Or knowing what somebody needs, like what do they need from their crystal healing.
You're guided to the crystal they need. And sometimes that surprises me because I think, because of the knowledge I've got about each mineral and crystal, I go, well, that's not the one I would have picked, but, you know, that's the one you're telling me. And then when you research it a bit more, you talk to them a bit more, suddenly you go, huh, that makes sense. Do you know what I mean? You know, and we've all had that experience where your logical brain, I suppose, and your knowledge brain is sort of like going, well, really, I would have put that with that situation, but they're telling me it's actually that. So you go, okay, so I trust you because that's who you're working, not me. So you go, okay, so I think you need that, or whatever way that comes at. Do you know what I mean? And then, as I say, it's afterwards or further on in the discussion, you go, it's that moment of, I was right to trust you guys. You know? Thank God I trusted you.
We've had that happen when, you know, because obviously, as you know, that you're always healing yourself, aren't you? I mean, I've done it with Crystal. We've sort of, right, we need healing on that, and we've sort of, you know, come together and done a healing on each other, and it always seems it can be what we thought it would be is not what it becomes. So it's like you pick up this one crystal and it's or this one stone and it's something completely different. So gosh, they're always they always surprise you, don't they?
But you're just a vessel, aren't you, at the end of the day, for spirit, and the more you heal yourself, the clearer you are to become have a different energy coming through you. So that's the way I see it anyway.
Have you ever got to a point with all your work where all of a sudden it felt wrong and you had to take a different angle to it?
In what way do you mean? Sort of in a healing session?
Not necessarily in a healing session, but in your own personal journeys. So you've been trundling along, learning, and then all of a sudden it feels like, hang on.
Isn't that being a human being, though? I think sometimes you have that moment, don't you, when you think, oh my God, am I doing the right thing? Is it the right path? Or gosh, I'm not sure it's
a
for
moment
me.
of doubt. Yeah, moment of doubt.
Of course. We all have that, don't we?
Definitely.
Oh God,
sometimes, yeah.
Oh God, yeah.
If you're thinking, oh, when does it end? If you've got a lot coming up, and then I get this, I snap back and I'm like, of course, it's what keeps me balanced, and then I talk myself back round again within about 5 minutes.
Yeah, because life without it is when you go, okay, well, I'm getting to the point where I've had enough, and then you go, actually, I can't because I'm not going to give this up. I'm not going to stop working like this because I love it. It's resonating with me.
I'm not being funny. I think that when we get into something like this, say like for me, for example, so as soon as I started embracing my mediumship, I became whole. Like it is who I am. And now if I stop doing all this stuff that they keep forcing me to do, even though I cack my pants a lot of the time, you've got to get up in front of all these people. Oh shit, I don't want it, but we're going to make you. It's going to be fine. Just do it. Just trust in us. That's what they force you to do. And the more that I do on a personal level, the more it's me. The more me I am.
I agree.
Because it's like a piece of you, isn't it?
Yeah. And the more you step outside your comfort zone, the more you grow, because you never grow if you're in your comfort zone. So it's really good to do stuff that might make you feel uncomfortable, but then in the long run, it's going to benefit you. And Spirit's got a tendency to do that.
Oh gosh, yes. And I mean, the shamanic wheel is that does all of that. You step onto it, and then you go on a very, very interesting journey, don't you? So
yeah. Definitely.
And so just because I'm naive and don't know much about shamanism, what do you mean when you say the shamanic wheel?
Do you want to start?
I'll let you do it because you began it.
Oh no! So the shamanic wheel is that if you want to become a shamanic practitioner, or you go on the shamanic wheel and you start.
Not only that, if you want to change your life.
If you want to change your life, and for me, I think that happened the first time. So you can go on it many times. And I mean, you start off in the south, and you go in 4 directions. And you start off in the south, and then you go to the west and the north and the east. And each direction means something different. So for the south, it is the way of the serpent, and it is all about dealing with your past. The west is all about facing your fears, and it is the way of the jaguar. In the north, it's seeing the magic and joy in life, and that's one of the hardest, and it's the way of the hummingbird. And in the east, it's about acceptance of your life, and that's the way of the eagle, and seeing the bigger picture. And you go on that journey, and they are hard, that each direction's quite has its own
unique character.
Challenges, I should think.
Yes. But like, to me, you were called to doing it. Like you wouldn't. Most people, you tell them about it, and they're like, oh. But if someone's really, really interested, and then they're getting like signs, so they might see, I don't know. Something might come on telly and it might be the word shaman, or they might see a hummingbird or whatever. You get called to do it, don't you?
Yes.
That's the way I understand it and the way it's happened with me.
And me too.
It's something that you don't choose to do. It's something that comes to you, and then you just flow with it.
That's right.
Yeah.
And then actually, going on that, it is a way of healing yourself. So you deal with a lot of stuff in...
It's predominantly about you healing yourself before you can even think about healing others, isn't it? So it's all about the personal journey, your personal journey to wholeness, really, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, and that can be incredibly painful at times.
Oh, it can, yeah. It's not an easy path at all. In fact, it can be very hard at times, and sometimes you're like, why am I doing this? But the benefits for me outweigh anything else. It's
any kind of negativity, the benefits do far outweigh them. Yeah, definitely.
And you just learn different techniques to bring yourself into wholeness, don't you? And to bring others into wholeness when you've healed yourself.
Because the main aim, I think, in anything is just to become authentic, isn't it? To be your authentic self. Yeah.
Yeah.
Which we all try to be. So what kind of training have you guys had? Because there's so many myths out there. You should go to, I don't know, Brazil or whatever and take some potion to go on a journey. And there's a lot of things like that out there that is possibly a little bewildering for people.
As I said, I trained with Lee Hilfiger in America. Went out to Peru to do training with a curandera out there that did do plant medicines. Javier. I did train with someone else in Southend, a woman, there's lots of different people I've trained with. Kathy in America.
Yeah, and I think Kathy and Lee and I know
Gary Plunkett as well, with the Hawaiian staff. What about you?
And I mean, I was taught by Sky Hummingbird in Southend, and then I moved on to Lee Hilfiger. And we're hoping to go to Cork in Ireland to do some more teaching. And it never ends. I think that also life experience is a great teacher, isn't it? I mean, I'm sort of doing lots of different learnings. I'm learning to be a counsellor, but I'm hoping to incorporate all of those things in there. I mean, we're actually now we've become teachers of the shamanic wheel, and we have students. So we're now moving into the West, and we're going to have our students coming to do some training with us in February, which we're really excited about. You know, so yeah.
And another someone, Ash Moon Dancer, did a bit of work with him. He sort of made me realise shamanism was amazing, and he's one of the reasons why I'm doing it. And that we're thinking about going, and Ed, lots of different people with lots of different qualities and attributes. You can't just pinpoint it to one, can you? Yeah.
It's a huge field now in the modern times, but when you condense it back down into ancient times, and there's a lot of persecution against shamanism, wasn't there?
Yep. Yeah, I think it was fear, to be honest, because from my understanding, especially back then, they held a lot of power, and so I think people were in fear because of that.
Yeah, because I had a conversation yesterday actually with a lady that spoke to me on the phone in regards to an issue that she had, and she wanted some healing about it, and I don't want any shamanism. And I went, oh gosh, why not? And she says, what is that about? And I went, and she mentioned black magic. We don't do black magic. It's not black magic. So people do have that, they do have that fear about shamanism. Seems to be for them, steeped in sorcery and black magic, and it's not that at all.
Nothing like that.
Because if that was, I wouldn't be doing it.
No, not at all. Yeah,
but it's lack of information, isn't it? People don't always understand, and they're afraid of what they don't understand.
Yeah, and sometimes I think if you compare it to Reiki. I mean, I've done Reiki, or I still do Reiki, but it's very gentle. No, that's the wrong word. It's very quiet, isn't it? When you go around, you put the music on, and it's very quiet. Shamanism is quite, you can sometimes hear the shaman in the corner, can't you? The shamanic practitioner in the corner, sort of using the rattles or using the drum. So
it gets to the root of things and gets rid of them from the root, isn't it? Yeah.
I'm not saying that Reiki isn't, because I love Reiki. It's wonderful, but there's when the music is very nice and gentle, and the drumming, the rattling, all of those things. It can be quite. Some people think, oh, what's that? I've had people walk past when you've been doing it at an event and think, oh, I don't like that, or I don't like the people. People start to, look over and wonder what it's all about.
Bless them. In some indigenous cultures that work in this way, there is a thought that they feel that their old style voices are actually not being heard because of modern day shamans. How would you answer that?
I do understand where they're coming from. They've been disempowered, disrespected. They've had all their amazing teachings and knowledge and wisdom ripped from them, and I can understand why they would feel like that. But we're not here to disempower them, to take their work, to take any of their stuff. Really, I feel like we're just coexisting beside them, really.
Yeah, and I feel that we're quite respectful.
Yeah, we're very respectful
and humble in actually and being very thankful for
honouring them, because they've got a lot of wisdom and a lot of amazing things.
So I mean, and the thing is, I feel that we're just carrying on the tradition in some ways, and we're putting our own spin on it. Because, like, I'm sure that Kerry and I'm sure that Clay, you put your own spin on what you do, because it's you, isn't it? That essence of who you are. Yeah. And I think for us, my Mesa has, I feel that I'm being very respectful and honouring them, because in my Mesa I've got my lineage stone. We've all got a lineage stone that links us to our teachers, and from them it links that lineage stone that they have links them to their teachers. Yeah. So we're always being quite respectful.
And in the Andean tradition, they want to teach us. Yeah. They've had a message about a prophecy where the West learns, and then the West is the ones that start to make changes in the world. So they've actually come down from their mountain. It was in 2000 or maybe before that, to say, look, we want to teach you, we want to share all these things. It might have been 1990, something like that. So the training that we're receiving, they actually want to share with us.
And Lee in America, she was so wonderful, and she was in Peru before it ever became
before anyone knew what magic she was, wasn't it?
Yeah. She was there, and she sort of got all that, and she loved all of that, and she got all the teachings when in the, I don't even know, in the 70s, I think, 70s and 80s. Yeah. So before it ever became fashionable, I suppose.
Yeah. And she's very, very respectful, and we're very respectful of everything we get from her, receive and share. Yeah.
Excellent. Now, what do you? We've actually had a question in the chat room, so I'll ask the question. What do you think about these online courses that claim to teach how to do shamanic journeying? I always thought shamanic skills had to be learnt from another teacher.
Okay. Personally, and this is just my personal opinion, I'm not putting anyone down. I don't want to be derogatory to anyone. I feel it's best to have hands-on experience, but if that's what they feel they need, then that's what they feel. Everyone gets everything they need. But personally, I feel that to experience it firsthand benefited me more than what if I'd learned online. How about you, JP?
I do agree. I mean, I'm a teacher, a full-time teacher, and I think that there is nothing better than having it, than working alongside somebody or getting that knowledge from someone that's had experience. And you need to know who it is, don't you? You need to know their credentials, and I actually think that you need to meet them before that. But it's horses for
personal preference. But yeah, that's a difficult one to answer, actually, isn't it? Yeah.
But there are lots of courses on offer, aren't there, for healing online and that sort of thing. Like I've looked at Reiki courses, but for me personally, I say the same. I'd rather learn from somebody in the room, rather than online, because of the understanding of how energy works, and that you need to be able to feel, you know,
a connection with that person,
and if they're authentic. Authenticity is really, really important to us. How genuine, how authentic the person is, and to me, you can't really get a gauge for that if it's an online thing. But that's just me personally feeling that. Yeah.
I agree with that. I agree with that. I think any form of energy work is good to do the background information that an online course will give you. So you gain knowledge, but to actually feel the energy and work in that way, it's a totally different ball game. And sometimes it's good to feel it for yourself. So, like you say, you can feel, you get that experience. That won't be taught over an online course, but you will gain the knowledge. So that it's not necessarily a bad thing, online courses, but to actually really experience it and see if it resonates with you and to move forward in that way. I would always suggest back it up with, physically experience it. Because some of the rituals and stuff that shamanics do are very intense, aren't they?
Yes, and sometimes you need someone to hold that space.
We are very in tune, my darlings.
You need someone to be holding that space for you, because you can open up a can of worms, and if you're not knowing exactly what to do, then trying to deal with that
while reading a bit of paper. Hang on a minute, what did it just say? Oh, hang on. You know, that would make it quite difficult.
I would think, yeah.
You
come across something that you're not ready for, and then you go, oh, hold on a minute. Just hold on 1 minute there. I just need to go through my notes.
And sometimes you could go on a course and you just, you know, you go on a course and you might not quite feel that connection with that teacher, or, you know, and you think, oh, well, actually, I don't really want to do it. And, you know, you've got that option to change your mind, don't you? But, you know, once you've signed up and once you've paid, I think, you know, that's a difficult one to back out of, isn't it? So, there's good and bad for all of it, isn't there, really? So it's people's preferences.
Horses for courses, as they say. Now, I have to say, I have had this form of healing, and it was I've said it right at the beginning of the show, one of the most profound experiences I've had. And I've had lots of different experiences in regards to energy and working in different ways with energy. And it really was something completely different from what I'd ever experienced before. And you talked about something called, you did a thing that you talked about, I'm just going to download.
Oh, yeah. See, I combine theta healing as well. So, I think they work very well for me personally. They work really well with each other, because stuff comes up, and then what theta does is to change beliefs around. So basically, you can release beliefs and then download beliefs, and I just feel it for me it benefits that person to the maximum. But not everyone does theta. But that's that. No, you don't, do you? But I really like to combine the two.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And we talked right at the top of the show again about intention work, and it's about finding your way with the right intention into getting the right way of working with energy that suits your vibration.
Oh, 100%, yeah.
Yeah, and there's lots of different healings with the shamanic, you know, we learn on the shamanic wheel, lots of different healings in each direction. And some of those healings that, you know, I don't enjoy some of them, but I'd really prefer doing others. It's, you know, I don't do theta, but Crystal's amazing at theta and combining it. And you love different kind of healings, don't you? So
it's all what fits with you and what resonates. A bit like with the mediumship and with crystals. It's like you find what works for you, don't you?
Yeah. Oh gosh, yeah, totally.
Yeah, you sort of link into your channel, don't you? And it's a bit like tuning in on the radio, isn't it? your frequency. It's your frequency.
Very much so. Bianca in the chat room has just said, I remember you describing the session as she ripped something out of you, laugh out loud. I just had to point out that needed to go. It needed to go. So it probably was a little, I admit, I can be a little dramatic at times. I know that's hard to believe. I know it's really hard to believe. I remember that conversation I had with Bianca. But at the time, that needed to go, and it was an incredibly powerful way of being able to release it.
Yeah, because you just there's no point in hanging on to something if it's not serving you. So if it's not serving you, get rid. Isn't it?
Yeah,
it's not fluffy.
Show them the door.
Yeah.
I definitely agree with that one. Show them the door. Now, the other thing that's always linked with shamanism is animal totems.
Yeah.
Yes.
Does everybody have a specific animal totem all the time, or does that change?
True.
Well, to my understanding, we have, I think it's 9, no, it is about 9 that walk with us in our lifetime. So they'll come in from childhood, and then when we don't need them, they'll step back and make way for new ones. But we can have other animal spirits which come in that obviously if we journey for them, or if someone journeys for us, we get exactly what we need at that moment in time. It doesn't mean to say they're going to stay with us forever, but they'll be with us for that situation. That situation, and not one is any better than the other. Like you might get someone that gets, a tiger.
That's me. I got a tiger.
Oh, you did.
And I got a jaguar.
Yeah, someone gets
jaguar. Yes, jaguars are really. Yeah, they're all really quite powerful totems.
Okay, so I've got a question because we did. I haven't had a healing, but we did some shamanic drumming or run a development circle. We had a shamanic drummer come and he led us in a meditation to find our totem animal.
Yep.
Mine was a crow.
Lovely.
So just tell everybody what is the meaning of the crow?
Crows are messengers of the spirit world, so they are the messengers. Off the top of my head, there's so many animals to think about. They what would you call them?
I would call them powerful. They're very powerful.
They are powerful. They're literally the connection between us and the spirit realm, aren't they?
Seeing that you're actually a medium, that sounds perfect.
Yeah, it was really. It seemed exactly right at the time, and to the point where in the room I had to check that I did my checking around. I even opened my eyes to make sure there was no windows open, even though there wasn't. I knew there wasn't because I could feel the air. It was like I could feel the wings flapping, and I could feel the air moving. So what did it mean to you, though?
What did the crow mean to you?
The crow meant to me that it was a message from the spirit world, which is why I was interested to hear what you said, because it led me to a room which was full of books, and it sat on a desk, and it was like, you have to sit here and you have to write and you have to, I don't know, teach or do whatever I needed to do at this desk. It was very you need to learn, sit down and learn and pass on your information. That's what it was.
Yeah, so they believe that also that the crow is the keeper of the sacred law and divination. Okay. And actually, it's a crow also guides human souls to the afterlife. So, showing them the light. So you could be, and you do talk to spirit. So, and perhaps you are also going to be helping people cross over.
That's really interesting, isn't it, Kerry?
Just
I was actually thinking that.
Just a little. Probably in a way you ladies aren't expecting. We'll tell you about it afterwards.
Yeah.
Can any animal be a totem?
Yes.
Yes.
You can even have bacteria or you can have mythical creatures like griffins or Pegasus or an ant. Or ants.
Oh, that's really interesting because I know a lady that had a dragon.
Oh, lovely.
Yeah, it was lovely. She was so happy. She was thrilled about it.
So is it that they appear as that form that you would accept?
No, some people don't want them.
Oh, right. Oh, I'm really happy I got my tiger and my jaguar.
You were happy with that.
If I've had someone go, I don't want a rat, I'm like, I'm really sorry, that's what you got, but I don't want it. So no, not everyone likes what they get, but it's what they need.
Absolutely.
And we also teach them how, like, there's a set of questions we get them to go into to find out what that animal means for us, because you can read it out of a book, which is amazing, but that animal is specifically for you. So what better answers can you get than asking it yourself? Why it's there, what it means to you.
So it's like a little journey that you go to meet that animal, and you ask that animal.
Yeah, you connect with it, and then you ask it different questions.
Why have you come to me?
Why have you come to me? How can I honour you? That sort of thing. So therefore, you know how to work with it and how it wants to work with you. Yeah.
Wow.
Oh,
I know
it's lovely.
I know how I worked with my two big cats. It's all I can say. I think it was about 5 days later I joined Parasearch after that healing session.
Oh, wow.
Oh, I think it's time for some drumming. It's got to be
I
time
know,
for
I was just about to say that. Ladies, would you please honour us by doing some drumming for us, please?
Okay.
So should we show them the directions? What do you want to do? Just drumming?
So we thought of drumming and singing a song that we've got 2 songs that aren't really that we learnt from Lee. And should we do one from Lee and one from Kathy? So should we do the one from Lee?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Hang on. Sorry, 1 second.
No, that's absolutely fine.
The spirit of the wolf is coming to me in the form of a beautiful fog. The spirit of the wolf is coming to me in the form of a beautiful fog. His paws touch me with power. His paws touch me with love. His paws touch me with wisdom. His paws touch me with love. The spirit of the wolf is coming to me in the form of a beautiful fog. The spirit of the wolf is coming to me in the form of a beautiful fog. So that was, we learnt that one, sorry, we missed a couple of words. And what we found with that song, and we love it so much, is that we can use it in a healing.
Yeah.
And if a totem animal comes to us, we can use that song so that you could say, the spirit of the bear is coming to me in a form. You can just pick the animal that you've got.
And then you might say, he comes to me with,
passion. Creativity. It's a long one there, but...
So you can use it to adapt around that person, and they use it a lot, don't we?
I love that one. That drumming was a bit,
That drumming was terrible.
You are very nervous, though. I will just like to point out to everybody. The girls are very, very nervous, and but thank you so much for doing that for us. Did you say you had another one?
We do. This is what Kathy taught us, and it was she got it from a lady that...
It was an African shaman, wasn't it? And it was about the grandfathers and the grandmothers, wasn't it? Coming together and the families reuniting and bringing love and hope and stuff to...
And there's a bit in there where we just go, hey! And it's something like that. And actually what they do is when they do it in Africa, at that moment, the children run into the grandparents' arms. So it's really, it's beautiful.
Yeah.
So we won't use our drum for that. No. So it's Pura Mamine, Pura Mamine, Pura Mamine, oh, Pura Mamine, oh, Pura Samine, Pura Samine, Pura Samine, oh. Pura Samineo, you just repeat that all the time. Oh, someone laughed.
Oh no,
Sorry.
no.
That's my son. Just ignore him. Sorry. Apparently, I need to soundproof the room and the house. That was brilliant. No, it was brilliant. I wasn't laughing. I was really into it. Actually, it was lovely.
Yeah, I really enjoy
and you
these
just
things.
repeat it. You just repeat it, and we love that song. And it was such. I mean, and Kathy just when she gifted, she sang that song, and we've learnt it from her, and it was just a lovely thing to do. And she maybe jump into her arms when we were doing it in front of a group of people. And I'm a lot bigger than her.
Oh, that was absolutely brilliant. Thank you so much for sharing that. Right, now ladies, you do courses, don't you, where people can find you?
We do.
What kind of courses do you do? So
in March we are going to be doing an empowerment course in Lee Community Centre on a Wednesday night, and we've already done that, which was one last year. It was so successful, and it's about giving people lots of techniques to help them feel empowered and in control.
Yep. And it gives them the skills and the tools to be able to take charge of their life, and it's quite spiritual at the same time, but it's giving them practical advice, practical skills, and that they all really bonded last time, didn't they?
Loved it.
And obviously we've been teaching the medicine wheel as well, haven't we?
So we're doing the medicine wheel as well, where we're using a lot of teachings from Lee, and we've actually got for each direction we are making up our own manual. So because a lot of it is very practical on those courses, and they're like 4-day courses, and it's all very practical. And sometimes people are so desperately trying to write things down. What did you just say there for a minute? Hang on. And
they miss it, don't
they? They miss it. So we've come up with a unique, our own manual that we put our own spin on the south, and in each direction we'll be doing that. So I mean, the first manual was like 80 pages long. So it's just a way of them being able to focus on the teachings rather than what we're saying and writing, because it distracts. So
we thought, well, at least if we've got that sorted, then they can actually fully engage in what we're saying and doing the practical work, isn't it?
And we're really incredibly proud of it, because it's been made with love, and and it's been really hard work doing that.
And the empowerment course comes with a manual, doesn't it?
Yeah, we like our manuals.
We like a manual,
Oh, they're a useful tool, like you say. It gives people the chance to concentrate on the actual workshop at the time, particularly if there's a lot of practical work involved in that. And then they can take something away, and if you forget or you think, oh, how did that actually go, then you've got the manual to then refer to afterwards. Do you actually teach shamanism itself?
That's the medicine wheel, yes.
Oh, yes, that is the medicine wheel, sorry.
But we do like we can do day courses and things to teach people how to smudge and teach them how to journey. Yeah. We're quite adaptable with it, really.
And Crystal also does the Munaki.
I teach the Munaki. So that's a set of 9 rites that are installed into people's energy fields to help them. It's to do with ascension and
Rahani as well.
Oh, and Rahani, Reiki, all different things.
Yeah.
So, ladies, where can people find you if they want to do one of these courses and want to find out more about you guys? Where can they find you?
So on Facebook, it would be Dimensions to Healing. And if not, we're on Facebook, Jackie Manton, Crystal Atlantis.
Atlantis, yep. I haven't got a website still, unfortunately. I'm still trying to get one of them created.
I'm trying to create my Facebook page, which I keep, I haven't done it quite yet. So, but it's mainly Dimensions to Healing. Yeah.
Or they can look, if they're on your friends list, they can look us up, because we're on your friends list, aren't we?
They certainly can. I'm just going to share a link into the chat room for you, so people can also come into the chat room and find that link, so they can find you that way as well. So there you go, ladies. That's been shared into the chat room.
Thank you very much.
As well. No, thank you, guys. It has been absolutely fascinating talking to you. thank you so much for coming on and sharing your knowledge with us.
Thank you. It's been amazing.
See,
Yeah, it has been.
Bad,
it has
was
been
it?
amazing.
It wasn't so bad.
I've just, there's a pool of sweat around me. There's a pool of sweat.
Now you know why I'm so thin. Do this every night. Thank you so much for joining us.
Kerry and Claire.
Yeah, thank you for the opportunity.
Yeah.
You're very, very welcome. And if, like I said to everybody, if you'd like to find Crystal or Jackie, then I've just shared the link into the chat room. You can still access the chat room even once the show's gone off air. This show goes to a podcast, so if you missed it, or not that you missed it because you're listening, but if you'd want to share it out, please feel free. We go to YouTube and also through the Spreaker channel. Now, next week on Parasearch Radio, what have we got lined up for you? Well, on Monday, tomorrow evening, we've got the Parasearch Radio Encore show. Me and Jay Lynch, it's a replay show from the one we do on a Thursday. And we looked at an article that has been trending in social media regarding a lady that married a 300-year-old pirate. And that led us down on, are we disempowering men through the empowerment of women? So that was, it's always funny with Jay. But join us tomorrow evening for that show. On Tuesday evening, we've got the paranormal concept show with Mr. Paul Rook and myself. And again, we'll see what we're talking about. I'm not quite sure there. On Wednesday night, we have a double whammy for you. We launch at 8 p.m. with the Supernatural Chat Show, which is Sean Cadman's new show. This week, he's got Hazel Ford in the studio, who is the owner of Haunted Happenings. Yes, sorry. Then following that show at 9 p.m, we have got the Haunted History Show, and she is talking to Vivian Powell regarding Castle Rising, which is a fascinating place, and I can't wait to hear all about that. On Thursday, we have got the Spectral Zone with Kaz Rooney. She is talking to Jason Faust, who is a paranormal investigator. Always a fascinating discussion. And then on Friday, myself and Mark Manny and Kaz are in the studio talking about giants. Next week on The Spirit Dimension, I actually have a life coach whose catchphrase is "Embrace Your Awesome," and her name is Taz Thornton, and I can't wait to speak to her. On that note, thank you all so much for joining us in the chat room. Thank you for anybody that wasn't in the chat room and was listening. And on that note, I bid you all a very farewell. Say good night, ladies.
Good night.
Thank you.
Good night.
Thank you for listening. Don't forget to join us for more shows throughout the week. Find us on Facebook, Twitter, and the World Wide Web to keep up to date with all the shows right here on Parasearch Radio.